What's up, y'all? Welcome to Almost Together, a space where grace meets growth, and we get real about life in between being and becoming. I'm your host, Candice Lewis Wilson. Grab your tea, your water, your protein shake because we're going there today. Today, I'd like to talk about my struggles, and one of my struggles is PCOS and insulin resistance, and how I went from being dismissed in the doctor's office to finally being heard. I'm sharing this because number one, someone out there needs to hear this. Someone out there is going through this as well and need to know that they're not alone. And number two, we need to talk about what it looks like to advocate for ourselves, especially as women and especially as Black women. So let's get into it.
Zane 98.
What's happening, good people? I'm so glad you clicked play today. If this is your first time listening, welcome to the family. If you've been rocking with me for a while, you already know. Before I jump into today's episode, I want you to notice something. The background is different. I got on the hoodie. Why, you ask? Because I recorded this whole episode and the audio didn't upload. So I went and got me some Jersey mics, took me a shower, hit up my content manager, got some encouragement, and she said, sis, do it again. So here I am doing it again because we're not perfect. We're not behind, we're becoming, and all of the things. So if you notice, like, hey, what's going on? Listen, hey, it's been a day. This is all you get. You get this Adidas hoodie, me sitting on my little trundle in my room, and we're gonna figure it out. So let's get into today's episode. I want to start out by talking about aging because whether you like it or not, you're going to age. Our bodies are changing. They change over time, right? Things start shifting. Some of us gain weight, some of us lose weight, but all of us experience change, right? So navigating our health is something that we all have to do at some point. And here's the truth. The experience can be stressful for anybody, but it's even more stressful as women and even more stressful as Black and brown women because often our symptoms are minimized, our pain is overlooked, and our concerns are brushed off. And so that's why advocating for our health is not just important, it's necessary, it's required. So let me tell you my own journey and how this all really began. Let's rewind to November of last year. I had just left a very stressful job, the kind of stressful where you know your cortisol levels are singing the Negro national anthem every morning. And y'all, my body was not okay. I went through this episode of insomnia that was so bad, I thought I was losing my mind. We're talking nights of laying there, staring at the ceiling, doing mental math like, okay, if I fall asleep now, I get 3 hours. If I fall asleep now, I get 2 hours. And guess what? You never really fall asleep. And on top of that, I was having these intense night sweats, the kind where you wake up fully drenched and you feel like you've been running a marathon in your dreams. My body temperature was on permanent sauna. I mean, just hot all the time, and nothing could cool me down. I started taking melatonin like fruit roll-ups. I mean, it was terrible. It was not my proudest moment, but it was what I needed to do to get sleep. And then eventually that didn't work, right? And after weeks of this, I started feeling manic. Like my brain was firing all cylinders, all the wrong ones, all at the same time. And that's why I said, okay, something has to change. Something's not right and something has to give. Here's the thing nobody tells you about. It's not just the physical stuff, it's also the mental and emotional stuff that creeps in your mind at 3 a.m. when you're staring at the ceiling like, am I broken? Is something deeply wrong with me? Is something permanently wrong with me? Like, what is going on? And why is my body not cooperating? Like, why can't I do the basic thing of sleep? It's like imagining like trying to cook a meal and you got everything together, you follow all the steps, and then you go to turn the oven on and it don't work. That's what my health felt like, doing the right thing, but just not being able to get the right result. So y'all know me. Y'all know my favorite line. My favorite story in the Bible is the ram in the bush. Because I feel like in life there's always a ram in the bush. So enter my ram, My girl, Dr. Jaymie Fields. And listen, God will place people in your life exactly when you need them, exactly where you need them. And Jamie's not just my friend, she's a whole medical professional with a whole bunch of credentials that I'm not going to butcher. But no, she is her, right? But more than that, she's the kind of person that you sit down and talk to her and you tell her what's going on, she's going to listen, but she's also going to be like, hey, what's game plan? What's going on? Let's figure this out. I just randomly happened to be connecting with her because at the same time we were both watching our niece and nephew who are close in age. So we were like, let's do a play date. So I was joining up with her for a play date so that the kiddos can hang out. And of course, we weren't planning to talk about my symptoms and what was going on, but we talk about everything. So it came up. So I started talking to her about my symptoms, my blood work, my frustrations, everything that was going on. And instead of shrugging it off, she was like, let's connect the dots. She asked a bunch of questions. She kind of dug deeper into my medical history. And she was like, I think you might possibly have PCOS, but I really want you to talk to your doctor about it. And she gave me some questions. She gave me some things to go back and ask my doctor to consider so that I could be equipped for my conversation. Because a little past history is that I had been telling my doctor about this for years, that I felt like something wasn't right. I was gaining weight. It was hard for me to lose weight. I'm a super active person. I'm always in the gym. I really only eat 10 things, y'all. So it wasn't like there was some significant changes outside of like my stress levels at work that were, these barriers to me gaining and losing weight, right? Well, not well, I was having no issues gaining weight. The barriers were me losing weight. But it felt like it was expediting this weight gain, as well as not just the weight gain, but the feelings. Like I was always tired, like fatigue on 100. Like I would come home, I would get up, go to work, come home, go to work from work, take a shower, get in the bed. I'm in the bed at 7 o'clock. And, that's fine for me in like November because if you know me, when it get dark, I'm in the bed. But this is like in the summer months. This is all the time. Like I didn't have energy to do things. I didn't really want to. And if you know me, I'm a social butterfly. Like I am always somewhere doing something, but I really struggle to like have the energy to do things. And so that was what was just so odd to me and all of like the different feelings I was having with my cycle, like PMSing really, really bad, having very harsh menstrual cycle symptoms. And so, as I'm telling my doctor this, she's just saying, "Oh, you need to diet and exercise. Oh, you need to include more walking, eat more protein." And I'm just like, none of that is working. And it also felt, so dismissive. So after talking to Jamie, like, I'll be honest, that conversation gave me something I hadn't had in months, and that was hope. Because until then, every doctor visit felt like a dead end. Like, your labs look fine, just felt like another slam door. But Jamie made me feel like maybe, just maybe, I wasn't crazy and that, someone actually believed me. So fast forward to January. So I told you I had a new job, but also I had new health insurance, which means I got a new doctor. And so this is where the story shifts because I walked into that doctor office prepared. I had my notes in hand. I had my blood work printed. Y'all, I went to FedEx. I was ready. I was ready to advocate for myself. And I had Jamie on speed dial just in case I needed it. But when I tell you I was met with so much grace, I was met with such love and care. The doctor I have is amazing. She listens to understand and not just give me a response. The thing that I loved and appreciated was that she didn't come to me with, automatic solutions. She didn't come to me with the automatic response. She came to me asking questions, getting history, getting context, and then she said, "Okay, let's run some tests." And so I had some suggestions of tests that we should run from Jamie, and I provided those to her. And she welcomed them. She welcomed that I had someone who was in my corner. She didn't feel any kind of way because I was saying, "Hey, my friend is a medical professional, and she has insight, and she would like to, she has me asking these questions." She was like, "Okay." She's like, "Well, I love these recommendations and tell Dr. Jaymie I'm going to up her too, not because I don't agree, but because I want to make sure that I am eliminating something that might also be an issue." And so it was so good. And she was like, "Listen, I'm not going to diagnose you. We will let the tests speak for themselves." And by test, she meant tests because that's exactly what we did. For the next 2 weeks, and I mean, for all those 2 weeks, she probably got every drop of blood and urine that could come out of my body. We ran every single type of test from cortisol, thyroid, liver, kidney function, hormone levels. We did it all. I mean, I felt like a lab rat, but a lab rat with purpose. And like I said, she welcomed Jamie's feedback. She welcomed her into the process. She was like, "Tell Dr. Jaymie that we're gonna try this and see what she says." And because she wanted me to feel comfortable with every decision that we made. And honestly, that was the first time in a very long time that I felt comfortable in a healthcare setting. And that's the thing when you've spent years or months. Um, Being dismissed, when you finally are listened to, it can bring you to tears. Like, I felt so good because I left that appointment feeling lighter, not because I had any answers, but because I knew something was being done and someone was willing to help me find out. So after all 50 tests, the results came back. It was PCOS with insulin resistance. So finally an answer. And don't get me wrong, getting a name for something isn't a magic fix, but it's a starting point. I felt like I at least knew what I needed to do or what I could do. And I wasn't imagining these symptoms. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't not trying hard enough. Something was actually going on inside of my body. It was relief and grief all at once because it was relief to have answers, but it was grief of just like I had been sitting with these symptoms and not knowing what was going on for so many years. So what is life like now, right? So before I get into what it's been like living with PCOS, I want to pause for a second and actually explain what PCOS is because a lot of people have heard about it, but not many understand what it really means. When it was first presented to me, I had heard about it, but I didn't really know the details of it. So PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's a hormonal disorder that affects women of reproductive age, and it shows up differently for everybody. So, you can have it, your mother can have it, your neighbor can have it, and you all can have different symptoms. The common symptoms go from anywhere from infertility, irregular periods, no periods at all. Some women have excess hair growth on their face and body. There's weight gain or really stubborn weight loss, fatigue. Fatigue. Did I say fatigue? High body temperatures, night sweats, ovarian cysts, acne and skin changes. And then there's the one that hit me hard, and that's insulin resistance, which makes managing weight and energy levels so much harder. Here's the kicker, right? PCOS is what we call an invisible illness because some people you might have signs of like um, extra belly fat or the facial hair, but essentially it's something that people can't necessarily see from the outside. So I could be smiling, working, showing up for people, and nobody knows that I'm fatigued, that I'm having hot flashes, and suffering from insomnia or the frustration of a body that won't do what I need it to do. And that's the hard part about invisible illnesses. There's a stigma, right? People look at you and they say, "Oh, you're fine. You don't look sick." They think just because you don't look sick that nothing's going on. They think, "Oh, you just need to try harder or eat cleaner or go to the gym more." But they don't see the full picture. They don't see the doctor visits, the tests, the mental and emotional weight of it all. So I want to say this for anyone listening who is living with an invisible illness, whether it's PCOS, endometriosis, autoimmune disease, chronic pain, whatever it may be, your struggle is real. And don't let anyone minimize your experience because living with PCOS and insulin resistant is an ongoing thing. I've got a trainer, a nutritionist, I'm in the gym, I'm eating differently, but losing weight is hard. The fatigue is hard. Getting up some days and having zero energy is hard. And the symptoms can be exhausting. As a Black woman, it's even more isolating because research and resources aren't as available for us. Representation matters in medicine, and when you don't see yourself in the data, it's hard to find answers that fit your reality. And another thing for me has been this heat, because despite what people want you to believe, global warming is real, climate change is real, and it's been a hot summer. And when you're already hot, the outside heat it's just it's like being in an oven. And I'm an outdoor person. I love being outside, especially in the summer. And it's been so just deflating to not be able to enjoy something that I love a lot, being outside, hiking, doing things, because I just cannot stand the heat. My body just cannot stand the heat. So if anybody wants to build me like a personal climate control patio, I'll take quotes. But seriously, the other side of that is the emotional side that nobody really talks about because there's a bit of shame, right? Like I know that I'm larger. And the funny thing about it is that people like to tell you that you're larger. Like I literally had someone say to me, a family member at Thanksgiving told me, was like, "Oh, you must be enjoying the marriage life." And I said, "What? Yes, I am. Why'd you say that?" And then she made the gestures like as if I've gotten larger. And I'm like, "Ma'am, uh, I said other words in my head, but I didn't say them out loud because I'm respectful and my mama and dad was there." But seriously, I mean, like, I know, I get it. I know I'm tired. I know, that I seem distant. I know that I'm saying no to more things because I don't have the energy to do those things. I know that sometimes I got a chin hair, and sometimes I don't, and that's the most embarrassing thing because, like, just being like, and it's always like I don't notice it until I'm out in the public and I'm like feeling my face, and I'm like, I got a whole hair on my face, and that's the thing that like is just like there's so many things that come with that: the shame, the frustration, the stress of doing everything right and still feeling stuck. PCOS is a condition that will punish you for being stressed and then stress you out for being punished. I mean, it's a cycle and it will make you question yourself constantly. So if you're listening and you're someone living with something invisible, your struggle is real, even if other people can't see it. You don't have to look a certain way to be worthy of care. You don't need visible symptoms for your pain to matter. And you're not dramatic, you're not lazy, you're not making it up just because it doesn't show up on the outside. I know it can feel isolating, like nobody gets it, like you're carrying this silent battle by yourself. And I know the shame that creeps up when people say things like, oh, but you look fine. Or, have you tried this diet? Did you try yoga? As if you haven't been fighting every day just to feel normal. So let me tell you, you're not crazy, you're not weak, you're not less than, and you're not alone. It takes courage to live in a body that doesn't always cooperate. It takes strength to advocate for yourself when you're exhausted. And it takes resilience to show up when no one can see the weight that you're carrying. So if no one has told you today, I see you, God sees you, and your story matters. Don't let anyone minimize your experience. And don't let the invisibility of your illness trick you into thinking you're invisible too. You are still here. You are still valuable, and you are still worthy of care, compassion, and healing. Through all of this, my friends, my family, and my faith have been my anchor. Two scriptures I keep coming back to are Galatians 6 and 9. Let us not grow weary in any doing, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. And Psalms 139 and 4. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And I'll be honest, some days I don't feel fearfully or wonderfully made. Some days I feel broken. I feel tired. I feel bloated. I feel uncomfortable, but I'm not broken. I am becoming, and I'm not less than. And it's hard to pray for healing when you've been living in the not yet for so long. But I also know that God has not forgotten me, even in this process. So, because I like to keep it practical, and I want people to be able to navigate this differently from me because there's some things that I had to learn the hard way. So, I want to give you a few tips so that you can have in your back pocket just in case you need them. So, the first one is to document everything. If you know me, you know I don't remember a lot. I tell you all the time, if I don't do something, remind me. It's not that I don't want to do it, it's because I forgot. So, don't rely on your memory, especially when symptoms change or come and go. Write down everything: when it starts, how long it happens, what you were doing when it happened, if anything made it better or worse. I keep a note in my phone called health log, and I jot down things like, okay, I didn't go to sleep for 3 nights. I had night sweats at 3 a.m. I was fatigued. Because when you go in, it's evidence and not a feeling. And so you can provide that documented evidence of what's going on. Bring your records, right? And we have my chart and all those things. So we assume that your doctor will dig through old files or have access to everything from previous visits. But bring printed copies of your lab results, test results, all that stuff. Screenshots of your patient portal. Highlight the numbers that have changed over time. And if you notice a trend, like something is going up or down, point that out. Because sometimes doctors focus on whether something was within range, but you can show them the bigger picture. So that was something that was like really big for me. Every time I was going to the doctor, I was within range. However, if anybody had just taken a look back and said, let's look at the trend, I was always trending up or always trending down, but the trend was within range, so nobody paid attention to the difference. Another thing you can do is ask specific questions. Instead of what do you think this is, ask, can we test for this? Or could this be related to this? It shifts the conversation from vague to actionable. When I suspected as PCOS, I didn't just ask if they thought I had it. I said, can we check my hormone levels? Can we look at insulin resistance markers? And can we test my cortisone? So that gave a starting point, but it also helped me be able to be a part of the actionable plan. Another thing that was a game changer for me was seeking a second opinion. One doctor's no is not the final answer. If something doesn't feel right, keep looking. Healthcare is like any other professional. There are some people that are rock stars, and there are some people that just go to collect a check. And there's some people that just might miss something. So the thing is, if you're not being difficult for getting another opinion, you're being thorough. Your life and your health are worth it. And last but not least, have an advocate. If you can, take a trusted friend or family member with you to appointments. They can help you remember details, ask questions you forget, and back you up if you're feeling like you're being brushed off. I can tell you how much it helped having Jaymie involved in my journey, not just as a friend, but as someone who could speak the medical language when I couldn't. Because even if your advocate isn't a medical professional, having someone in your corner changes the dynamic in the room. And she definitely changed the dynamic in the room for me. And she also just created a different level of confidence that I didn't have having her in my corner. And of course, this isn't the end all be all. If you have other tips about healthcare advocacy that you think are good for people to know, please drop them in the chat, share them in the comments because I want people to be informed. I want people to be prepared because when you come in with information, questions, and support, you give yourself the best chance to get real answers from your doctor. And so I can't wrap this up without giving a special shout out to my family and friends who have been so supportive through all of this. They listen to my cries, my frustrations, my late night rants, my long text messages about my doctor visits. I truly, truly appreciate it. To my best friend, to Jaymie, to all of the people that have always been in my corner, I truly do appreciate you because this has made the journey so much different. And to my husband, you are the real MVP. You've been my biggest cheerleader. You've encouraged me, prayed for me, and even let me keep thermostat at 66 at night so I can sleep because I know you be cold and I'm sorry. But that's love. And I couldn't do this without you. And I couldn't do this without the people that God has placed in my life and placed around me. So here's where I'm at. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still seeing specialists. I'm still learning what works for my body. And that's okay. I'm not behind. I'm becoming. I'm not broken. If you've been through something similar and you'd like to share your story, please DM me. You could DM me on Instagram, Threads, or Facebook. You can also go to almosttogetherpodcast.com and subscribe to the newsletter there or send me an email there as well. You can follow the blog and follow me along for this journey. It's still unfolding. I'm still figuring it out. But until next time, let's build, let's heal, and let's laugh almost together. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Zane.